No, you're cuter than a squirrel.
Okay, thanks.
So, okay. So I just hit the record button. So that means that we are going to start with YouTube. For those of you who are joining us on YouTube, just absolutely know that today we are going to stop all the excuses that keep us from living the life that we want. For those of you, well, you know what? For those of you who have not gotten this book yet, we're not giving a book today, so you're just going to have to buy it yourself. So if you haven't seen this book or gone in, we're going to be talking about a really fun chapter. And so all I'm going to say right now is we're all millionaires. So as a millionaire, I would like for you to fasten your seatbelt because we are going to learn and grow together. So it's time to dance. And let's do it.
The Lillian McDermott Show.
We love, we fear, bridges we burn, we make mistakes, then we live and learn. When life gets tough, and it seems like your best ain't good enough. If you're in need of hope, you know where I'll be. I'll be right here, right here. And when you need a friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here, waiting for you.
This is the place you can always turn to when you need a friend. The Lillian McDermott Show. To reach out to Lillian, visit her on the web at whenyouneedafriend.com. Now let's all learn together. Here's Lillian McDermott.
I did it so nice that we can meet each other on the air on this beautiful best day ever. And for those of you who are new to the Lillian McDermott radio show, just know that you're in for a treat because we are with Dr. David Friedman. He's a doctor of naturopath. He's also a chiropractor, but mostly, and most important, we are going to talk about functional, integrative, the way that you can take your health back. So here's the deal. All of us want to follow in the great philosopher Meatloaf when he says, I would do anything for, and you can fill in the blank. But here's what happens after that. But I won't do that. What are you not willing to do, my viewing and my listening friends, to live the life of your dreams and embrace these new truths? What are you willing to do? So we want to be healthy. And we want we want to be millionaires. We want to be so many things, but we're not willing to do it. We are creating so many excuses, so many different things that we're doing to sabotage. So I said to Dr. David Friedman, author of Food Sanity, he is also a wonderful radio host who, man, so cool that Jay Leno and all these wonderful people that he has been able to interview as well. I love it. But he gets to come on my show /classroom. And we're going to talk about all these excuses and the millionaire within each and every one of us. And since it is our sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge, I am so grateful that Dr. David Friedman is here to do just that. Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott
always a pleasure. Always a pleasure, Lily.
Yes. And you know what? It's so funny. Every time you and I get together, it's like hit the races. And
Right.
Every single conversation that we have, I wish we had it recorded, because many of the times we get to just enjoy and have this conversation back and forth. And I'm like, stop. It's time to record. It's time to get this information out there because we are constantly sabotaging ourselves without even knowing. So
Right.
Share a little bit about your background and what brought this passion within you to remind us of that we are all millionaires and we have that millionaire within us.
Well, I have to first share that, I did 150 shows last year to promote my book, and you were the first person to say you wanted to feature Chapter 12, The Millionaire Within, which is my favorite chapter. In fact, it used to be Chapter 1, and the name of the book was called The Millionaire Within, but they said people won't get that that's a book about food, so they really poo-pooed it, so I didn't call it that, but it's actually my favorite chapter, so I commend you for bringing that up because, I think it gets people to look in the mirror differently, and that's the key is hundreds of millions of people, we play the lotto, we gamble, we invest our money in the stock market, hoping to become rich. That's the American dream. Mm-hmm. And while we're busy chasing the buck, most of us don't realize when we're looking in the mirror each day, we're actually looking at someone who's already a multi-millionaire. That's right, folks. According to medical research published by the Indiana School of Medicine, your body's worth $45 million. Now, here's an item. Amazing. Yeah, let me give you the itemized list so you can give it to your CPA, okay? Yes. Your property taxes might really go higher, internal property taxes with this. Your bone marrow is worth $23 million. Your DNA is $9.7 million. Antibodies, they're worth $7.3 million. 2 lungs, $232,000. Your kidneys are worth $364,000. Heart's worth $57,000. Females, 32 of your fertile eggs is worth $224,000. And men, can't leave you out, 12 sperm donations a month for 23 years is worth $250,000. Now, guys, don't quit your day job. So Lily, I have to ask you, if you had a Rolls Royce that was worth, let's call it $500,000, would you fuel it with cheap gas? Would you fail to change the oil and ride on deflated tires? Of course you wouldn't. You'd make sure that $500,000, $500,000 Rolls Royce was properly tuned up. It followed all the factory recommendations. Folks, your $45 million body also has requirements for it to function at optimal level, but we failed to do that. And Lily, everyone's so afraid of another recession, right? Everybody, that's our biggest fear, but there's one taking place inside of our body. If you eat too much of the wrong foods, which can result in developing type 2 diabetes, guess what? You just lost $315,000, the price of a pancreas. If you smoke cigarettes, deduct from your internal net value, $232,000, the price of lungs. So even when the housing bubble popped, Lily, we didn't see this kind of financial devastation taking place.
I love, love, love this. And I it's funny because when you came on and we were talking off the air and you said this was my favorite chapter, I thought, amazing. That it was my favorite chapter too. And well, actually, they're all really good chapters. But a lot of the stuff that you talk about in the book, you and I have talked about before, right. And it's getting out there. The information is getting out there. But to think of ourselves as the millionaire, as a millionaire, our body as a millionaire. Now, we all have looked at our owner's manual in our car. We all look at our owner's manual. And like you said, we would never put cheap gas in a Lamborghini or a Rolls Royce, but that's who we are. And yesterday I was sharing with you off the air, and I want to hit all these bullet points before, while we're on the air, because this is so fascinating. We talked about the value, our value in vulnerability, the value of vulnerability. And one of it was to know our own value. And within that, set our parameters and our expectations, because many of us could avoid many disagreements because we've been able to see our value. And I'm sure, I don't know if this happens to you, your friends, when they're sick, they call you for free advice. Or, my friends, when they're, in crisis, they call me for free advice. But this is how you make a living, right? Will they recognize the value of what you do? Do they? And say, hey, I'd like to schedule an appointment so that you can see me as a doctor, right? Right. Yeah, that's true. So we need to identify our value as well. So when I started reading, the price of my lungs, the price of my DNA, of my eggs, and all of that, where did you get this information? So that all of us can appreciate the value of the numbers?
Well, again, I really focused on finding a way where people could look in the mirror and say, that's the most important thing. It's not about your doctor. It's not about your health care. It's not about your children. A lot of people put their children and their family first, but when that oxygen mask falls in the airplane, what do they tell you to do? Put it on yourself first, then save your kids. So we tend to do things without looking in the mirror. And I wanted to say, how can I get people to look in that mirror and go, wow, that's what's most important? Because you know something, even Christians, you know, they'll go to church, they'll worship, they'll praise God, but then they'll walk in smoking a cigarette, or they'll be overweight, or they don't care themselves, or they're eating popcorn. That's not worshiping, because God created the body.
Yes.
And you have to really take care of yourself. And, you know, I even see Christians that they don't take care of themselves, but they take care of others. They'll go fellowship and they'll go break their butt to help others. But look in the mirror, folks. It's all about you. And that's where healthcare begins. And the Millionaire Within, I've had people tell me that, you know, one guy said he was suicidal till he saw the value that he had. And he looks in the mirror and he smiles. He said, I would never want to kill myself. I'm worth millions. Why would I want to take my own life? And that's kind of the concept. Yeah.
Well, you know, I do, because, you know, later on we're going to have Matt Bellis of Liberty HealthShare joining us. And I want to get to these excuses that we, you know, basically what we're going to talk from this point on is the big old butt, and not the B-U-T, not the B-U-T-T. We're talking about butt. So I would do anything for you.
I thought J-Lo was coming on. I didn't know. I said, we have J-Lo coming on the show?
Okay.
You didn't tell me this.
Wait up, brother. Okay. So let's talk about these excuses that I just absolutely love, because I want us to see the insanity. You know, it's the book is called Food Sanity, but I want us to see the insanity, the games that we play, the big butts that we say. I would do anything for love, but I won't do that. I would do anything for health, but I won't give up my pie. I would do anything for, you know, lowering my cholesterol, but I will not give up meat. So let's talk about excuse number one. And it's, I would like to eat better, but cooking healthy meals takes time, and I have kids, a full-time job, and a house to clean. Look.
Wow. Yeah. The biggest excuse is I just don't have enough time. And what I do with patients when they tell me that, I write a sticky note and I write time, T-I-M-E. I say, what do you notice with this word? And they go, what? I go, the word has two other words in it. And I circle the word I and the word me. It is part of the word time. I said, the word itself is telling you something. You need to take care of yourself. And I've had people get that sticky note and they'll put it on the refrigerator and they'll look at it every day and go, wow, the word's telling me something. I got to find the time for me. And now let's take time a step further. Let's just talk about if you really don't, like, I won't do that. Let's figure out time, folks. Let's do the math. There's 168 hours in a week. Okay. Mm-hmm. The average person works 40. Supposed to sleep 40, but most of us don't. But let's assume it's 8 hours a day. So let's say it's 40 and 40. Okay, that's 56 hours. That's 96 hours sleeping and working. You know what that leaves, Lily? 72 hours remaining. Now, out of those 72 hours left after you've slept and you've worked, do you really not have 3 hours of those 72 to exercise? Yeah. Do you really can't find 2 hours on the weekend to prep good food that you can use for the week? So even if you did that, 2 hours in the 5 hour, or 3 hours, that's 5, that still brings 67 hours left. Mm-hmm. Play with your kids, to binge watch Netflix, which everybody seems to have time to do. Right?
Yes. Oh, yes.
To watch movies, to play video games, to goof off. But it's so funny how we don't have the time when it's the most valuable. And that's what I debunk the word time is we have the time. Yes, it's 8 and 8. 8 hours sleep, 8 hours work. You've got 8 hours left that you're not working or sleep. 8 hours a day. That's a full work day. You can't find 30 minutes to go take a walk.
I know it. Okay. So excuse number 2. Times are tough. I cannot afford healthier choices or organic food. Let's talk about what happens to our body when we, okay, this is the analogy that you made about the car and the owner's manual and all that. If someone gave you the keys to the Taj Mahal, would you let the terrorist in? And so people would say, no, I would not let a terrorist in the Taj Mahal. You have the keys. But the terrorists for our body's a temple. Our body is worth the Taj Mahal. Right. But we allow gluten and all the processed foods. We allow all that into our body. And so here we go. So what happens to us when that excuse is sabotaging?
Well, the big one I hear is with patients. They say, well, I can't afford to eat organic food. It's too expensive. So, Lily, what I did is I went and I did a full-blown investigation. I hopped in my car and I went to I think it was 7 different stores to get to the bottom of it. Is it really more expensive to eat organically? And you can read my article. It's drdavidfriedman.com, and it's called Organic Will Not Break the Bank.
That's right.
And no, it even goes further than in the book, Lily. I actually went to stores to find a way where it's cheaper. So organic is actually less expensive. You can get USDA certified organic fruits and vegetables from even Walmart, and it's got the certification. That means it's not bottom of the barrel. It's the same certification as Whole Foods that they have to go through. So you can save money there. You can go to a farmer's market, and Lily, at the end of the day, if you shop, you'll see sometimes a 50% discount because they don't want to bring all the fruits and vegetables home. They're going to go bad, so they'll cut them right in half. There you go. You're saving 50%. So really, you can't use that as an excuse. Now, you don't have to buy everything organic. The rule of thumb I have, which is the rule of thumbnail, if you can get your thumbnail and you can puncture the skin of a fruit or vegetable, more than likely pesticides getting in. You don't want that.
That's a great idea.
For example, apples, grapes, strawberries, lettuce, organic, buy. But the thick skin, like the pineapple, coconut, eggplant, kiwi, not so much. So you don't have to go and spend all your money organic. But even if it is more expensive, even if you go, oh, that's a quarter more, 50 cents more, what's more expensive? Eating glyphosate, which causes cancer? Now it's proven, folks. There's no mystery. Well, maybe it's good. It's been proven.
They're losing lawsuits now.
They're losing lawsuits. So you want to eat that stuff and spend tens of thousands of dollars on chemotherapy, or spend a quarter for some fresh organic apples?
That's right. And I love I'm just going to show everybody here. This is a great side-by-side comparison. And we're talking, at the end result is dollars. We're talking a small amount. So we need to change our mindset quickly, because we are millionaires and we need to treat our body. I love, love, love this chapter. Okay, excuse number 3. I eat out a lot, and it's impossible to eat healthy, especially after fast food restaurants. Oh.
Yeah. Whoever snuck the S in fast food was a marketing genius, because it should have been fat food. But with the busy hustle and bustle, some people have to go through the drive-thru. Some people need to go there. So in the book, I said, hey, here's what we did. I covered the McDonald's, the Burger King, the Taco Bell. I'm not going to go through all that. But one thing that you want to do is that's easy to do is the condiments. Go low on that. People don't realize that 2 tablespoons of mayo is 190 calories and 140 milligrams of salt. Yeah. Ketchup, ready for this, Lily? 32 grams of sugar, loaded with sugar. I mean, it's fattening. People don't think this. So instead, here's what you do. Don't put it on your sandwich. Get the packet, I like to flip over the sandwich, put a couple drops on the bottom, and when you eat, you taste it, and you only need a couple drops. It's just the same as if it's inside. So that's an easy way to do, and you'll notice the packet's not even gone when you're done.
Say that again, because I buy organic, no sugar, low sodium ketchup, and it's really, really good. But even that has lots of sodium, because Dr. Michael Clapper gave us, and I'm sure that this, the combination of calories per sodium per milligram. So if something is 10 calories, some of the stuff has 700 milligrams of sodium. It should be 10. No more than 10 milligrams of sodium. So that's a good little, eye visual, that if you're looking at the label in the back and you're looking at the sodium and it's exceeding the calorie content by 10, 20 times, put it down. Because salt is just as bad, right?
And the food is allowed a 10% difference. So, and usually that's higher. So you can't always judge it. You can usually say if it's got sodium or salt or sugar, it can actually be higher. It's usually not the lower percentage, but they're allowed that little wiggle room. So again, like I said, with your specific ketchup, that's not at McDonald's, that's not at Burger King. So, they don't have that option of even going healthier. But, people like their condiments, go easy on that. And that's one different thing to do. And of course, you can always just take that top bun, just throw it away. Just eat your sandwich. You've already got the ketchup on the bottom, and it's the same. You don't need that extra bun on top. So that's just one quick, easy tip to help keep the calories down.
Very good. Very good. Now, when I choose to go to fast foods because I have wheat allergies and dairy
Right.
allergies, and I choose to go to places that are like, I don't want to name brands, but Chipotle is one that I
Mm-hmm.
go to that's organic and non-GMO. Or maybe when I go to Jimmy John's, which I just started going to because a listener sent me an unwich. And so I thought
Uh-huh.
the veggie unwich is delicious.
I had one yesterday. Yeah, I eat there often. Yeah, the unwich.
They're not even paying me, but I love it.
No,
So,
I love it.
okay. So, number 4, I've just eaten something I shouldn't have had, so I might as well go all the way.
Yeah, that's a big thing. They had donuts this morning at work. I ate one, so now I'm going to splurge at lunch, and then I'm going to have a pizza at dinner. The thing about that, Lily, is, we've all been in a car where we get lost, right? When we've gotten lost in a vehicle, do we try to get more lost, or do we try to find our way back to the pathway we need to be? We find our way back to the route.
Yes.
Same when you make a mistake. We're human. We make mistakes. We fall off the wagon. We ate that donut. But you know what? Find your way back on the path. You don't have to continue saying, I'm going to get more lost. Oh, I'll drive here. I think it's to the right, but let me keep going lost. So that's the neat thing is don't beat yourself up. You're human. You can go right back on that pathway.
Yeah, we can become a GPS and start going recalculating.
Exactly.
Because, when you think about it, when I was younger, if I used to do that, and I'm just going to go all the way here, and I'm just going to wait till it's all done, and I still, this is what I used to do. I'll wait till Monday. Monday, and it could have been Monday already, but I'll wait till the following Monday. And if Monday was at the beginning of the month, or wasn't at the beginning of the month, it was a Monday at the beginning of the month, then I was golden. But
yeah, some people,
the mindset.
Some people take advantage of all the 364 tomorrows in a year. It's the biggest scapegoat. Tomorrow. Yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. Yeah, but one thing I want to mention with this is I want to stress that people get a do-over. When you're seeing the value of your body, and you're smoking, does that mean I've lost my lungs? Does that mean I've lost my bones because I've eaten soda, drank soda, which does decrease bone minerals? You get a do-over no matter how much you've neglected your body. There's every day 50 trillion human cells. They die and they get replaced. So you're wired for rejuvenation. So to give you an idea, every 120 days, you get new blood cells. You get a do-over. Every year, your liver and your lung cells are rejuvenated. They're renewed. In 10 years, your bones are brand new bones in 10 years. In 20 years, your heart regenerates fully. So I say put a piece of duct tape on your rearview mirror. Focus on the road ahead that's new, that's refreshing, not all the damage you've done in the past, because you can rejuvenate. You've seen these people that are smokers, they end up become marathon runners because they got off smoking. These people that are sick, we get a do-over. And that's what I love about this book is, with food sanity, food has the power to heal, but it can also harm. And the key is get rid of the one that harm, and it rejuvenates. What's the saying, Lillian? You are what you eat. Mm-hmm. Every organ I just named gets rejuvenated by what you eat. So next time you're at a fast food and you look at this greasy hamburger, go, is that what I want my heart to be? No, you want live, great, healthy food becoming you, because you are what you eat. You become, your cells become that.
Well, let me, because, I do want to get through all the different excuses. But when you say that our body rejuvenates, our bones rejuvenate, our every so often, what about people who have osteoporosis and they decide that they're going to change their diet, or people that have failure of some sort? How can you build them up to the point where now they're going towards in the right direction towards health, as opposed to the direction of the weapon of mass destruction?
Yeah, bones are really something that I've seen in my office rebuild. So you can get bone scans. I've had patients that, they get off, we talked about in the past, milk. Get off milk. It's the worst thing. People say, well, that's what does strong bones. We won't go into that, but it's what makes bones weaker, more brittle.
Right.
So
great marketing campaign, though.
Oh, great marketing. Wait a minute. That's like having a cavity-fighting toothpaste, but it's really Aunt Jemima syrup. It's causing cavities. Just don't tell anyone. I mean, that's how I look at it. So that's one thing. So in my book, I do cover osteoporosis. I show you that people have weaker bones when they drink milk. They're more brittle bones, and I explore cultures around the world. So that's one thing you can do. And the other thing is, don't go with these Tums tablets. A lot of people think that's making your bones strong. That can actually cause weakness because it makes your body not ability to digest. So it's mistakes we make. But if you can get rid of all those, and Lily, what I always tell people this is, you can take all your calcium, your supplements, and eat right in the front yard. That's being torn down. But if your backyard, you've got a pyromaniac putting gasoline on your house, they're worthless over here. You've got to get rid of these pyromaniacs in your body that are depleting the bone, depleting your heart. That could be from water you're drinking, the food, the chemicals. Then go with good nutrition, because you can't keep putting the fire out with gasoline being bombarded in the stomach.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So I've seen so many times people get better from osteoporosis. We've seen so many people get better from like cancer and all the different things that they were told that it would be forever and ever and ever. So excuse number 5, I want to eat healthier, but my spouse is a diehard hamburger and greasy French fry lover. Go.
Yeah. Interesting. You know, I mentioned in my book, I interviewed hundreds and hundreds of scientists, doctors, and authors. And one person I interviewed was Kim Barnewin, and she's wrote the book Skinny Bitch. And back when vegan wasn't cool, she was putting this out in the world as being really the poster child of vegan. And her husband's not. He's a steak and potato guy. So I asked her, I says, what do you do? You're like the poster child of vegan. All you are is plant-based. And it's called compromise. She'll make some vegan dishes 3 times a week, 4 times a week, and ones that he loves. She says, aha, I'll make more of those. And pretty soon, those are outnumbering the meat and potatoes and the steak, chicken, and so forth. So that's the key. I had a friend come over. I said, want to come over for dinner? He says, what do you have? And I said, hamburgers. And I went out and grilled them and gave it to him. He loved it, had the portobello mushroom. When he was done, I said, by the way, that was a veggie burger. And he went, if you had told me that, I would never have come over here to eat with you. He loved it. Till he knew what it was, and it's like, wow, they really make those pretty good.
Now,
so
did
that's
you
the way
make that
compromise.
veggie burger? Was that one of your veggie burgers?
No, I just made. I put it together in the grill. Yeah.
Okay, so you put it together because I stopped buying veggie burgers, and the reason why is because of the sodium. You know, it'll be like 100 calories, but the sodium was like 450, and so I said enough of that. But what I've been doing is I take portobello mushrooms, I season it. We grill it on the George Foreman grill. All these people are getting credit for all this stuff. It is so delicious. And I season it with a little bit of, Bragg's aminos. And and I season it with garlic and oregano and just let it marinate for a little bit. Put it in the George Foreman grill. It flattens it. I've even used the portobello mushrooms as bread. And then put the tomato and onion and the lettuce and avocado, whatever, inside of it. It is delicious. And it's an inexpensive way to eat.
And even portobello mushrooms on the grill, you can marinate that like you do a steak, and it's got the same consistency for people that are kind of transitioning. It really does. Yes, so there's a lot of ways. So with that astute, that's easy. Just compromise. Yes.
And I eat more vegetables than my husband does. And so like today, for example, right before the class came in session, I made a vegetarian, a vegan, Italian meal. And then I took the sauce from it and I laid out some fish. If he's listening, he's getting fish tonight. So, and then I put the veggie broth, the veggie pizza, the Italian sauce on it. And it has, it has lentils in it. And it has spinach and kale. And it's going to be over all the fish and it's being baked. So hopefully it's good. I don't know. I just created it. But there's ways that you can batch cook and have it there for people who love the meat. So, okay. So number 6, I'm addicted to sweets. I just can't live without them. I would do anything, but I won't give up. Go ahead.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I think sweets are fine. I don't think God made a mistake with the tongue. I think that we have taste buds for sweets for a reason. You just want to find the right sweets. And when you're dealing with the sweet tooth, stay away from the white processed sugar that's stripped of nutrients, that makes you hungry, that makes you swollen, that creates inflammation, diabetes, and so forth. But we have a sweet tooth, so you can go with healthy alternatives like, whole leaf stevia, but not the stuff you see in the store like Truvia and so forth, because it's mostly erythritol. That's not whole leaf stevia. I get people saying they hate stevia. I go, you've never tried it. You think you have. You've not tried real whole leaf, 100% pure stevia. It's delicious. It's not bitter like the stuff you get at the store. Or xylitol from the birch tree or monk fruit. There's so many different varieties. But if you're having a hard time because sugar's addictive. It's like the other white powder. It's like cocaine.
The
They've done
crack.
studies.
It's the other white crack.
Powder. So a little tip, there's something called Gymnema sylvestre. It's an herb that you can take. And when you take it, it's called sugar busters. It makes the brain not want sugar or carbs.
What?
It's amazing.
Say that again?
It's called Gymnema.
I thought you said Jemima. Okay.
No, not Aunt Jemima. That's pure sugar.
Okay.
Gymnema sylvestre.
Gymnema?
Gymn, Gymnema sylvestre. And you can get it at the health food store. And it's called Sugar Destroyer. And actually, they would chew on the leaves, in natives, and it would keep them from craving food. It decreases your cravings for sugar. So that's a little side tip to help that. But again, in my book, I show you it's okay with sweets. Fruits, people say, oh, is bad, but that's a good kind of sugar. It's the good kind.
It's a good kind of sugar.
Good kind,
okay.
Yeah.
See, I used to be a sugarholic, and I can still. It's like you always an addict. Once an addict, always an addict, I believe. So stay away from stay away from it. And Dr. Joel Fuhrman, he says that sugar is a gateway to crack. So it is absolutely addicting. It is made and created that way. And so we need to take ownership and responsibility. So we're stopping here at 7. We're going to do 7 because I want to introduce the concept of taking 100% responsibility and ownership. And I want to encourage all of you. I know that you guys are watching on facebook.com/Lillian's radio show live, and you're writing all sorts of stuff. And I am just it's like squirrel. I want to look down there. But until the show is over, we're going to go back until the class is over and we've signed off with the podcast and all of that. Then if Dr. David Friedman has a little bit of time, we'll go through those questions. So if you have any questions, put a big old Q on it and we'll address it after the lesson today. But this is what we do. We talk about ownership and responsibility. What kind of, we always talk about how do we're all going to die. We're all going to die. Yes, we are all going to die. But how do you want to live? How do you want to enter into that life? That next life? How much suffering do you want? And so those are the things that help us say, hey, this is what I'm willing to do. And this is why, this is my why. And I'm going to take ownership of it. And these are little hacks, substitutes that we can do. And that's why I want you, and I'm asking you to subscribe to whenyouneedafriend.com. While you're at whenyouneedafriend.com, and when you become a subscriber, just know that you get all sorts of free gifts. Not only that, the audio is sent to your email, that whatever one, the email, your phones, whatever your emails go to, you'll get it there. So if you don't have time to watch it live, or you want to listen to it another time to motivate yourself, especially this one. I love the 10 excuses in the book, Food Sanity. While you're there, make sure that you subscribe and like and follow, spread the word, share, because we need to expand the classroom so that everybody knows this information. And so with that in mind, I ask that you go to my sponsors page and you check out Keep Me Safe Organics Worldwide. All sorts of discounts that you get there. First Alternative Care. Oh, so let me just give you my visual aids. So this is my visual aid for Keep Me Safe Organics, all organic, non-synthetic. First Alternative Care, $35 for the entire household. And that includes medical. So it's medical, it is dermatology, family practice, and 3 hours a year of behavioral health counseling. We have Dr. Grable from Jacksonville, who is functional, holistic, and he works with you to get the root cause. Then we have the pharmacy in Merritt Island. And of course, you mention my name and you get all sorts of discounts. And we just added Live Longer Medical, and they are in Indy Atlantic, and they are there to help you stay healthy for as long as they can. And you're also a part of this journey. So I want you to become an enrolled student and help out the classroom in any way you can. I hope that you become the teacher's pet. And last but not least, one of my favorites, Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share, talk about excuses. We all have excuses why we need to stay with insurance, and they do not have our back. Liberty Health Share, for those of you who want to learn more about Liberty Health Share, click on my sponsors page and learn how it Affordable Care Act exempt. This is truly affordable health care that they work with you. You can go to libertyhealthshare.org to learn more. But I'm really excited because we have Matt Bellis with us today. And I said, okay, I'm sure there's a lot of people that are out there making excuses of why not even look into what Liberty Health Share is doing. And so I said, okay, Matt, Director of Communications of Liberty Health Share, I'm sure you have lots of different, and you've heard lots of different excuses. And let's talk about why Liberty Health Share is the best. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Lillian. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. And of course, you get to my brother from another mother, Dr. David Friedman, talking about the 10 excuses, the millionaire within us that Liberty Health Share values as our own right. So share a little bit about Liberty Health Share and some of the reasons why we should eliminate any excuse.
Well, I love the conversation that you're having and always taking responsibility about the health and what you put into your bodies and how you take care of yourself. It made me a little sad, to be honest with you, after I hear Dr. David Friedman, because I still have to contend with the fact that cinnamon rolls are not a fruit. I just need to limit that intake there. But Liberty Health Share is a wonderful platform for you as an individual to take that ownership over your own healthcare, primarily because we have the view that your healthcare should be owned by you.
Correct.
It should not be owned by a bureaucratic third-party payment system that doesn't have your best interest at heart, which relegates us more to a sick care system rather than a health care system.
Yeah.
And so once you start thinking about that, and once you start talking about that and the cost associated with it and all those kinds of things, that's when people start to say, now wait a second.
Yeah. Yeah.
This might not sound right for me. I love to bring up my wife because if anybody should be convinced, it should have been her.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, everybody should be fine with it. And my wife is going to be an absolute disciple and evangelist for Liberty Health Share and healthcare sharing. But in the beginning, my wife gave me probably the number one biggest excuse for not joining Liberty Health Share. As she just said, really? It's not real insurance. And I stopped and I said, yeah, it's not real insurance. It's not insurance. There's a reason why we don't want to be insurance. It's not that if you follow that line of thinking, the question is, will you be there for me when it comes time to help me pay for my healthcare bills?
Yeah.
We definitely have to take a look at the history that we've been able to pay healthcare bills. But really that whole mentality, instead of saying, will you be there to help me pay for my medical bills, you say, it's not real insurance, so I'm not going to join that. Mm-hmm. The problems that we have seen over and over again with the third-party insurance system, we've been so inundated. It's almost kind of like what's that? Stockholm syndrome. We've been abused by a system for so long, yet we only think that's the only way to take care of it, the only way to pay for your health care. And so we go back to it over and over again, and we have to stop and say, no, you are an individual who should own your own health care. You own your body. You should be in charge of your health and the care of it. And the way to pay for that is within a community of people who share in those medical expenses, who rely upon one another to help pay for those medical expenses. Not a system where you put money into I like to call a bureaucratic black hole, mm-hmm. Where you hopefully someday may get some money out of it because a policy said that you did. I always like to say, whatever policies giveth, they also taketh away. I'm sure we all could regale stories, hours and hours of stories of people who were denied coverage after thinking that they were completely taken care of. Yeah. But those types of systems that have been wrought with all kinds of errors We said there's a better way where we are individually taking care of one another under a system that is making sure that those medical bills are being paid for.
Yeah.
So it's not just individuals, hopefully they're getting their money taken care of or their bills taken care of. It's people constantly, every single month, giving a share amount each and every month. Liberty Health Share is there to direct where those funds go to make sure everybody's taken care of. That's a great way to take care of your health care, not hoping and praying something that some benevolent creature will give you money from the bureaucratic black hole.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I just want to say, for full disclosure, and I've said this every time, I'm a member of Liberty Health Share. I called Liberty Health Share because I knew that we were so like-minded that I said, would you consider becoming a sponsor? And I just love the fact that you saw through that. You said, of course, this is what we want to call in, as people who want to be responsible for their life. We think that healthcare has to be difficult and mysterious. It's very simple. It really is simple. And, and for those of you who want to learn more about Liberty Health Share, you can go to libertyhealthshare.org, or you can call 855-58-LIBERTY, which is easy to remember, 855-58-LIBERTY, or 855-585-4237. Truly affordable. It was cheaper for me to join as an individual with Liberty Health Share than to join with my husband's insurance. And I get to pick where I go. I can go to any doctor I want. And, of course, within the parameters of Liberty Health Share, because we all have to have those boundaries. We need to have these boundaries. But I have loved it, never looked back. I was afraid. When I made that choice. But once I took that 20-second step of courage, there's no turning back. I am so grateful for Liberty Health Share and what they're doing. Matt, you're doing an awesome job as well. And so along with that, owning our body, I want to go, first, there are two things I want to respond to that you shared. Mm-hmm. First of all, I'm still laughing in me about what you said about cinnamon rolls not being a fruit. I just must acknowledge that. That was super funny. So I want to acknowledge that. But then before you came, when we started the whole thing, the last chapter of this book, which, I'm going to have Dr. Friedman kind of say something here in a little bit, but the last chapter in this book is about excuses. The excuses that we use for sabotaging ourselves. But the chapter is called The Millionaire Within. Dr. Friedman, would you like to share what our body is worth?
Yeah. First, I want to give a free plug about Liberty. I'm a member as well, and they do go that extra mile.
Yes.
And I will say, as a practitioner, 5 to 10% of all claims always denied. That's just the way it is. It's the law of numbers, and a few, they know that nobody's going to fight it. And so the ones that were declined, they fought for it. And one didn't go through, they put them into a legal team, and they paid it. So I commend you. It's great insurance. They stand behind it, and highly give it a thumbs up.
Yes.
So it's worth it.
What is our body worth?
Yeah, $45 million.
$45 million.
Yep.
Matt, $45 million. Share the breakdown of the cost.
Yeah, it's DNA is 9.7 million, antibodies was 7.3 million, kidneys are worth 364,000, hearts 57 grand, females I think it was 32 or worth 224,000. So yeah, it's all there, so you can see there. That's easy for me to go off the head, but yeah. So basically, we are multimillionaires inside. We're just not taking care of our net worth. That's the problem, and that's why I wrote the book Food Sanity. Take care of your net worth.
Isn't that great?
That's very fascinating, actually. It makes me want to start a side business of harvesting kidneys.
Okay, I'm so glad that there's a disclaimer after the class. And for those of you who are waiting patiently at Lillian's radio show, we are going to address your questions after the classes and after the classes session. But it's so important that one of the reasons why I wanted to do this is, like, yesterday I did the class was on vulnerability. We're afraid to be vulnerable. And vulnerability, the benefits of vulnerability far outweigh the risks of being brokenhearted. Far outweigh it. It increases the relationship. It puts you in a different place, spirit, mind, and body. And so I love the fact that we were going into all these excuses. We have lots of excuses why we shouldn't be vulnerable, whether it's, our ego or, righteous anger, whatever it is. But as we go into, the millionaire within, that's just another layer of looking at ourselves with so much more value. And so I must say, I'm so grateful, Dr. Friedman, that you shared your, because didn't you meet Dale while you were during one of the shows? Weren't they on at one point?
I think they were, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes, and so with that in mind, we open up to the things we don't know. And so with all the excuses that we make, if you just sit there and go, yeah, and I'm hoping that everybody who's watching today and is being a member of the class today, you find yourself laughing at yourself at all the silly things we do. Now, Matt, when it comes to Liberty Health Share, you're promoting health and wellness. So I think it's so funny that, many of us, we try to pretend like we're healthy, but it's the only addiction that you can see. People can drink, people can do drugs, nobody will know. People can abuse their bodies, people won't even know. But when you're addicted to food and sugar and sweets, everybody knows. So for that, you have the health track.
We do, yeah, and that's actually one of the when I was thinking about excuses and what people give as an excuse not to join Liberty Health Share. We have metrics that we go by and need to maintain to protect our community. And if we suggest to somebody, we would love you to join our community, but we would also like it if you could join Health Track to get your weight under control. Some people use that as I'm not going to do that, and so I don't want to. To which we kind of say, okay, respectfully, we'll have to part ways. Mm-hmm. But for those who actually get into Health Track and who are a part of it and who understand this is a really, if you want to talk about threshold of pain, this is a really low threshold because all it is, it's a coach. It's somebody to help you along. It's somebody to be a little bit of an accountability partner. If you're somebody who has struggled with weight for a long time, what we have found is that by and far, one of the most important things that you can have in your life in terms of weight loss is an accountability partner. Yeah. Somebody who you can talk to and be responsible to, somebody who can keep you on track. And it's not just once or twice. It's probably on the 5th or the 8th or the 10th or the 15th time that you start to realize, wow, I can really get this under control. This person really has my back. They want to see me succeed, and so I want to succeed as well. Having that coach in your corner, somebody to kind of rub your shoulders and say, come on, Rock, get back in there, throw another punch, is really helpful. And when you achieve those goals and when you graduate from Health Track, it's a moment to say, wow, I did it. With the help of others and with the determination and goal setting, I can actually do this. And it's been fantastic to see some amazing life change over the course of Health Track. We've seen over the course of the program, tens of thousands of pounds lost. Yes. It's just been fantastic to see.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I want to dive into a little bit of excuse number 7, because I think that this would be something that, people who want to be healthy, that would help with Health Track, with all that. But excuse number 7 is, I exercise so I earned the right to splurge. Let's debunk that myth too, Dr. Friedman. When people are using that as an excuse, what are they really saying?
Yeah, I had a fellow at the gym was running next to me, this big fella sweating. He'd been there for 40 minutes, and he said, I've earned that donut I ate this morning. And it's like, the thing I have to share is you can't outrun your fork. That's what I have to share. It takes 750 jumping jacks to burn off 150 calories. Well, one soda is 150 calories. The average person drinks 5 sodas a day. So is it easier to just avoid soda or to do 4,500 jumping jacks a day?
Health Tracks. That's got to be the motto of Health Track, right?
That's amazing. In addition, I've interviewed pretty much all the big gurus. Jay Cardiella, the fitness guru for the celebrities. What was the other name? Denise Austin, Richard Simmons, you name it, all the exercise. And I asked them the question, what percentage of losing weight is exercise and what is diet? Surprisingly, they all agree. 80% diet, 20% exercise. You think they would reverse it. Nothing is more impactful for losing weight than your diet, because exercising makes you hungry, makes you want to eat more. It tears muscle when you lift weights, so you have to eat more food. You have to be careful the food you put in there, because remember, your body's rejuvenating. You don't want to have hamburgers and Snickers bars here.
Well, it's funny. I think a lot of people who hate exercise went to bing, 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 bing. Hello. Maybe we don't need to exercise. We do. It's just that, the food is so important that, people are thinking, I earned that, whatever. And so that cinnamon roll, I earned that cinnamon roll, right, Matt? Okay. So number 8, I can eat fat-free. I can eat it because it's fat-free.
Yeah. The good news is I think people understanding fat, there's good and bad now. In the old days, the word fat was a negative. So I think people understand. I remember they used to say, stay away from almonds because they make you fat. Macadamians, avocados were a no-no. That was like the most fattening food you can eat. Now people are learning, hey, no, it's actually good for me. So I think that if you're looking for fat-free as being your excuse, jelly beans are fat-free. Does that mean you can eat them? So beware of labels, just because you see fat-free, low-cal, you really got to dive in and say, what does that really mean? Just like you can see 100% fruit juice, and if you look on the back, it'll say this product contains 8% real fruit.
That's right.
How's that possible? Because the 8% is 100% fruit juice, and that's how they get away with the little games. So again, don't be so quick to jump on the fat-free unless you're going to eat a bunch of jelly beans.
Well, a lot of the fat-free has, or the sugar-free stuff has a lot of artificial sweeteners, and that triggers the brain to eat more.
Oh, big time.
Well.
Yeah. Big time. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So we're going to save the last, let's see. Yeah. Cause there's the guilt eating, number 9 and 10. We'll save that for after the class is done. But I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to Liberty Health Share. Matt, is there anything that you would like to add about excuses to eliminate that, to maybe start looking at Liberty Health Share in a way that perhaps maybe they never thought of doing it before?
Well, before I do want to say that Twizzlers are a low-fat candy. So you're taking away everything that I love here.
But isn't that true? You can just stop drinking the 5 sodas. And you will, and I remember there was a statistic, and Dr. Friedman, maybe you can quote, you probably have the quote on this, because it took you 7 years to write this book?
6.5, yeah.
6, okay. And, but I read a long time ago that if you just quit drinking sodas alone, you will release 35 pounds a year. Did I make that up, or?
No, that's true. I had a patient come in 6 months since I seen her, and she lost all this weight. I said, what did you do? What program did you say? I just stopped soda. I said, what else did you do? Did you change your eating? She said, no, I just stopped my sodas. She was doing 6 to 8 a day, and she had lost something like, it was a good 45 pounds in half a year. Just quitting soda. It's the number one thing that'll pack on those pounds.
Yes. Wow. So maybe those Twizzlers need to go. The cinnamon. Yeah. I used to love all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You can still make it healthy, raw, vegan. You can make it with, mojule dates. You can use cashews as creams. There's so many healthy desserts that we can have. I wish you lived in Florida, because I'd make you a little cake. My vegan, gluten-free, no flour, no sugar. It's all organic. So good. My nice cream with bananas, frozen bananas, frozen fruits, and I add a little bit of mojule date just to sweeten it a little bit more. But those are the things. And I am hi, my name is Lily. I'm a sugarholic, and you can go back to it right away, very quickly. And so it's amazing when you stop the craving, when you stop eating it, the craving goes away, right?
I've seen that even in my own life. There are things that I gave up on that I realized I'm getting older and I should take more responsibility. And part of that was being a part of Liberty Health Share.
Yeah.
One of the quick things I wanted to add in here before we go, in talking about excuses and where Liberty has gone, there are a number of reasons why you shouldn't join Liberty Health Share, and a lot of people have those. Okay. There's only one of them that I would say that is valid and should absolutely keep you from joining Liberty Health Share, and that's a wrong mindset. Whenever you don't own your own body, your own health, whenever you're just expectant and entitled and waiting for people to do things for you, that's the wrong kind of mindset that we have in healthcare sharing, and we would suggest maybe you can find something else that better suits your needs.
Absolutely. And I think we do. Yeah, I think we do want to take ownership of our life. We just don't know how. And hopefully, between you coming on in the classroom, Dr. Friedman, and all the teachers that we have, and ourselves, when we are students and teachers as well, when we are ready and when we change that mindset, it's amazing the things that can happen. So it's time to stop the excuses, and it's time to focus on what we want. We want health. We want to be millionaires. Well, it's already there. We just need to create and decide that we want to take our health back, and it starts now. Now, before we go, I just want you to know, for those of you who are listening on podcasts, please like, share, please tell everybody how important this is, Liberty Health Share, and how you can take your health back. And let me tell you, I don't think of insurance anymore as a part of my life. I think of the partnership that I have formed with Liberty Health Share, and I know you can too. And I know Dr. Freeman, my brother from another mother, you're going to continue our conversation in a little bit about the different excuses, but I want you all to know that it's time to take our health back. So please remember, I'll be right here waiting for you worldwide at whenyounneedafriend.com. This is Lillian McDermott and Dr. David Friedman and Matt Bellis wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day
ever.
Good job. Good job, guys.
The opinions and advice expressed on the Lillian McDermott radio show are intended for the individual callers and guests on the program and are presented to our wider audience solely for general educational purposes. Please act responsibly and consult personally with your own medical, psychological, or nutritional expert before taking any steps to improve.
Okay, so with that in mind, we're going to continue the last two. But before we do that, I want you to know that we're going to check out. And Dr. Freeman, how much time do you have after?
I'm good.
Okay, you're good.
Yep, so good.
Okay, so I want to say hello to Jenny, and thank you so much for watching today. And Victoria, it's so always nice to see all of you. Jenny can only stay for a second. That's fine. I'm glad that you're watching the repeat on this one because it's just as good as the first time. We're like a Snickers bar, but better. Why did I say that? I haven't had a Snickers bar, and let me tell you, I don't know if I told you this, but my husband and I went on a cruise on Royal Caribbean, and they had this little area, this cotton candy. And I don't know what it is about cotton candy. When I think about cotton candy, it must take me to my childhood, but it just gets me all like, I have to have it, right? And so this was before I started changing my lifestyle. And there was this guy that was making the biggest sugar candy, whatever you call it. What do you call those? I can't even remember the name. Candy. What's the sugar where it's like this big, like web of sugar. What is that called? Candy
Web
cane.
of, web of lies.
Yeah, exactly. Cotton candy. It's cotton candy. I just had to let my brain. And my cotton candy, I kid you not, was 5 feet tall. 5 feet tall. I had this little stick balancing my cotton candy. And there was a show that we went to see while I was chowing down. I think my husband had some of it, but I ate the whole thing, the entire thing.
And you haven't slept since?
How'd you know?
I know.
That's why I have a hard time sleeping at night. Okay, so thank you to Robert for, he wasn't on today. He wasn't able to help. He had a commitment, so I'm grateful. And Carol, thank you. Welcome back. Let's see. Looking after others my whole life. Time for you. Absolutely. Time for me. Very good. I'm very happy for that. Yes. Then Brianna. Hello, Brianna. I'm so glad that you joined us, and say hello to everybody. You're watching from Maine. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. I just want to acknowledge all of you who have been waiting patiently while we were discussing. Adele and everybody is getting to know each other now. Carol, good information. Good. I'm glad. Let's see. Throw away the bun. Throw away the meat. Throw away the condiment. Why bother? Okay. What do you say about that? Throw away, throw away, throw away, because that's our mentality. Our mentality is lack. But what we get to embrace is good health, but not necessarily, because I have burgers and I use the portobello as the bun. And then in the middle, I have all the good, fun stuff. What do you say about that?
Yeah, there's no throwaway. There's throwaway, but add this that's equivalent, but the natural version. In my book, I talk about the white foods you want to avoid. If you want to lose weight, simple one sentence. If it's white, keep it out of sight. That's the rule. One sentence, there's your diet. That means white processed foods, like you're dealing with the sugar, the salt, the flour, and the corn, dairy, or anything made out of those ingredients. And when I say that, people go, what's left to eat? You just covered everything. No, you can still eat, but watch. So let's look at salt. We've heard salt's so bad. You mentioned it before. Oh, salt's got too much sodium. We have to have salt or we die. We're 70% salt water. So how can salt be bad for us? We just want the good kind of salt, not the white processed junk.
Correct.
That's table salt, because guess what that does? It makes you hungry, makes you crave more food. You know who knows that? Movie theaters. That's why they salt popcorn. They know you're coming out for Jujubes or a Snickers bar and Coke.
Or Twizzlers.
Fast food restaurants, salted food, because they know you're going to come back for another order of fries. But if you use something like black Hawaiian volcanic salt, which is what I use.
Black Hawaiian volcanic?
Black Hawaiian salt. It's volcanic ash. It's got 85 minerals. And what that means is you're saturating your cells with good minerals and you're not hungry. It makes you full. It makes food flavorful without having to go back for a second or third. Also, there's a one in Utah. Redmond's Ancient Salt is a good one. Himalayan, not so much. That's a little bit better. But stay away from the white processed salt.
What about sea salt? What about sea salt? Because I'm a water girl.
Yeah, sea salt's good. Sea salt's much better. Yeah, because it's got the minerals in there. That's the key. If it's white, that means something happened. They processed it. Same with sugar. If you look at sugar alternatives, it's like, stay away from the white processed sugar. But then there's xylitol. You got coconut sugar. You got monk fruit. You've got date paste, which is something I show in my book on how to make that. That's delicious. And so forget honey.
Easy.
Go eat. Yeah. My point is, so you don't have to be without. So when you're talking about strip away, you just add the same thing. You can still enjoy these things. Instead of white flour, almond flour, quinoa flour. You've got buckwheat flour.
Chickpea flour.
But buckwheat flour makes the best pancakes. It's unbelievable.
So buckwheat, this is I guess a myth buster, because for so long I did not have buckwheat because I thought it had wheat in it and it had gluten in it.
Oh, the same with wheatgrass. People don't go with wheatgrass because they see wheat and they go, oh, I've got gluten intolerant. No, wheatgrass doesn't have gluten. So if you're gluten intolerant, so you're right, you've got to kind of look to see that a lot of us it's like myths. And so many people don't enjoy wheatgrass, which is one 3-4 times a week. Love it. I love it. Oh.
I just can't. I drink, you know what? I want to love wheatgrass, and it's not the taste. It's not anything. It's that as soon as I take it, I feel sick. I feel weak.
Do you mix it or do you go straight?
Well, It's the wheatgrass. You buy it in a little shot glass. And
Oh, no. Yeah, no. What you've got to dilute it. A lot of people can't do the straight shots of wheatgrass.
I get shaky.
No. You want to go with carrot juice and have that one shot in your carrot juice diluted. Then you won't have that issue.
You're holding out on me, Dr.
Oh, my goodness. So the best thing is you can do a combination of apple, carrot, a little bit of ginger, and one little shot of wheatgrass. To die for. I don't do shots of wheatgrass.
To live for.
Yeah, so don't give up on that. You're doing it straight. It's kind of like essential oils. I mean, you've got to dilute them as well. They'll make you sick if you consume those. Yeah, so same thing. It's potent.
Well, I love that of adding. I love the concept of adding. And instead of thinking of takeaway, why bother? And I think I love the fact that you said that. And it's the mentality that gets us in trouble. And so if we shift it to what can I add? What can I bring in? And, I used to have a lot of honey. I used to, I don't have, it's not for reasons other than I just love module dates. When my desserts have module dates. And to me, that's just enough. That's enough for me. But there's other times where I do have honey, and it's really, really good, and it's got to be local. Okay, so welcome, Brandy and Barbara. Barbara's from Australia. So
she knows about Manuka honey.
Yes.
Australia, yes.
Yes, and she also has wheat intolerance. So Adele, I am a picky vegetarian. It's easier for me to pack my own lunch than to try to eat fast foods, which suits her. Well, good job, Adele. That's really good. To me, eating out is painful sometimes. It's wonderful when I find a place that will accommodate my allergies, and most do. But then, you're getting all the oils, and then you're getting all the processed, and you're getting all the sodium. And Dr. Friedman, I went out to meet a client the other day. And I took a bite of my food. It was so salty. But because we were in a situation, I just ate it. And after I left, I'm like, why did I do that? Why didn't I just say, can you please take this back? I don't want it. Or can you make me this without any salt? I forgot to say, don't put any oil in it. It was like so slick. Like after my first bite, I couldn't taste it anymore. It was like it hit my tongue. So
I was at a restaurant and saw this lady grab the salt. She just starts salting, and I thought she didn't even taste it. She doesn't know if it needed salt. No. She's just pouring it on there, and they cook with the salt. So I think we overdo it with this white processed salt. I think that's a big issue. And like I said, you want to go just back to nature. They've taken away all the good stuff in this white processed world.
My mom used to always say that you can tell a person has a closed mind when they don't try their food first before they season it. And she drilled that in me to the point where I don't put any salt or any, condiments like that in my food until after I eat it, because many times the food itself, the vegetables, when you prepare it, it's salty enough. Or there's a hack: if you add lemon to your food, it hacks the brain thinking that it has salt. But I eat salt. I eat salt. I don't avoid it, but I don't have the salt from the process. That's the process.
Right. That's the process. Yeah.
Okay. So let me continue here. So great idea to pack your own lunches. That way you know what is in your own food. So good for you, Adele. Okay. So then we have Brianna. I need to hear this today. Struggle with this. Okay. Good for you. I'm glad that you're in the class today. Barbara, I don't eat a lot of fast food. Having IBS stops me from eating all kinds. Let's talk about IBS and some of the things that we can do to reverse that. You said that our bodies will regenerate, our bodies will heal given what they need, if we give it what it needs. Let's talk about IBS.
Yeah, well, Hippocrates said all disease begins in the gut. And now, fast forward to today, and science is pretty much proving that our gut really is the portal to our hormones, our emotions, our memory, even your decision making. Like trust your gut. That's where that came from. So our gut really has this world called the microbiomes, which have this neuronal tissue that's similar to brain tissue. So it's called the second brain because it really does function in itself. So I've been really studying with gut issues because I was poisoned by the DuPont, which we talked about. So my gut was destroyed and I developed an autoimmune disease, and then I couldn't have foods that I used to be able to have. We can't blame the foods. All these people with these intolerances, you can eat one bite of pizza now and it distresses your gut, but 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 6 pieces were fine. What happened? The pizza didn't change. It's our ability to digest it. So with this irritable bowel or all these, issues that we have with this autoimmune and ulcerative colitis and Crohn's, and I think the problem is what we talked about is we're focusing on the people putting out the fire. I mean, we're focusing on the people putting out the fire up front. What can I do? What can I take? And again, I went that route. I'm taking this antibiotic, this probiotic. It's the people in the back, the pyromaniacs. That's the key. What's causing the gut issues? And I go really deep into that in my book. And I've done it in many shows where I'm talking more about gut than I am about food. And it's these chemicals we're exposed to. One is the Monsanto's glyphosate. It creates leaky gut that creates irritable bowel. So now what happens? Now you eat a piece of gluten and it goes right through into your bloodstream and it creates this immune reaction. It shouldn't be in your blood. It should be digested. But because of the leaky gut, it travels through, and now we're blaming gluten. Oh, gluten's bad. Well, we've been eating gluten for 3.5 million years. Science proves it. 40% of our diet was gluten-containing grains, according to research by the University of Utah. So we've been digesting it fine. Our great-grandparents didn't care about gluten. Why should we? It's not gluten. It's not the peanuts. It's not all the – we blame. We're blaming, okay, but we need to look at that as the firemen up the front rather than the pyromaniacs. What's causing this problem? So I say focus on the fire, not the smoke.
Yeah, going back to the second excuse that we give, which is, the cost of what is the cost of poor health? There's a saying of proverb, Indian proverb that says, a healthy person has, and I'm paraphrasing because it's a healthy man, but a healthy person has 1,000 dreams, but a sick one has only one. And so we what is it? Doesn't matter how much money we have, the millionaire within us, how much money we have. But if we don't have our health, would you choose money over health? And I think that we need to just sit down and have a really good conversation with ourselves of what we are willing to do for good health. And so, raw sugar. Barbara Scott wants to know about raw sugar. Is that okay?
Yeah, interesting. I did all the sugars it was Mel Magazine. You go to melmagazine.com and I actually critiqued all the sugars, including the white sugar. What's the difference between raw sugar? What's the difference between, the white sugar? What's the difference between honey and all? But really, when you're dealing with raw sugar, a lot of it's just this big facade that you think you're getting this raw sugar, but it's still processed. It's still being sold. It's just crystallized where it's not as pure and fine. So it's number 2. So white sugar is the worst offender. Then you've got raw sugar. It's still going to create inflammation. It's still not good for you. It's still going to create cavities, so it's definitely not one that I would put on my list. And then I'd show the difference between brown sugar. There's this different layers, but those are still considered sugar. You're better off going with something like we talked about, the stevia, the xylitol, the monk fruit, stuff like that, that's much better for you. Yes. And make sure the xylitol's from the birch tree. And that's good for the teeth. That actually decreases your chances of having cavities. So imagine having something that's sweeter than sugar that actually protects your gums and your teeth from getting cavities. It's approved by the American Dental Association. Wow, a sugar is approved by the dentists. It's called xylitol.
Well, hey, wait a minute. The dentists approve a lot of things, when we were talking about, root canals, and we're talking about some of the other things that are approved, fluoride, so it's nice that they've been able to give us advice with xylitol. I remember one of the cavities, I had a cavity in my adult life, and my dentist said, chew gum. Just chew gum with xylitol. Use toothpaste with xylitol. And I did, and the cavity went away. Imagine that.
Yeah. Well, there's science showing that actually has gingivitis clearing up. There's some good evidence. So, yeah, it's something that would be good. And you know what? It's sweet. So you quench your sweet tooth. Put it in your coffee instead of this raw sugar in the raw, because it's still sugar. It creates inflammation, creates addiction, makes you want more, makes you have craving. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, Brianna, I know you say that you struggle with sweets, and I hope that you'll be able to be inspired or encouraged. If you go, gosh, I think I've done where I've shared my sweets on my YouTube channel or my Facebook channel. I think I have, but there's a lot of recipes out there that is whole food plant-based desserts. Don't add all the honey, don't add all the junk, because the fruit is sweet enough. And once we start eliminating all that sugar, you stop the craving for the sugar. It's true. I mean, did you find that for you? Do you have a sweet tooth, Dr. Friedman?
I've never been one with a big sweet tooth. I've never been
what's your weakness?
My weakness, and I talk about it in my book, was popcorn. I had it every single day of my life. I'd come home, big bowl of it every single day. And I had 15 pounds that I couldn't lose. I wasn't fat, but I was stocky. And then I started finding out corn is inflammatory. And here I am thinking, corn's healthy. It's a grain. We're taught, that's part of the vegetable that we should have. And I learned that no, it's not. It's inflammatory. So I got off popcorn. It was 6 weeks. I lost the 15 pounds. Now, did I give up popcorn? No, I still love it. It's my little guilty pleasure, but now it's maybe twice a month instead of every single day. I still enjoy it, but you don't have to deprive yourself of all the things you love. Just realize, cut back a little bit,
That's right. And so thank you, Victoria, for sharing. I love it when all of you share. Okay, so Barbara has a question. What would you recommend to snack on at night while watching TV, like popcorn? It's almost like I read your mind, Barbara.
Yeah. Now she's thinking, no wonder I can't lose that 15 pounds. I'm eating popcorn. That's what happens.
I have the best air popper that has a dome. And I also use non-GMO corn, organic corn. And I have maybe popcorn maybe once every 2 weeks or so, like
me. Yeah,
it's still healthy. So what do you say about?
We still have that urge if you're watching a show, right, that you want to do this. So what I did is you can chop up, some almonds is really good. And it's very filling. You get filling fast. But what I actually do, Lily, is I get cucumbers and I chop them. I chop them in slices, and then I go and I slice them. I mean, I'll do them like little pieces diced. And I'll put a little oil and vinegar on there, and I'll actually eat each little one by one. It's got no calories. And I'll do that, and I quench my hand to mouth, and it's delicious. You put a little pepper on there, and it's not fattening. I'm not going to gain that 15 pounds back.
Okay, tell me that again.
So you just chop up cucumbers, and then you dice them, slice them so you got little pieces of it. So that gets you don't want to just eat them because they're gone quickly. You want them to last. That's the goal. So you want to be able to sit down and enjoy while you're at it. And then you can put a little seasoning on it, some oil and vinegar. If you want to put a little Italian dressing, balsamic vinaigrette, whatever it is on there that you want to have a little bit of flavor, or don't even put anything on there but salt and, good kind of salt and some pepper on there. And then that's fine. And you quench that. And you know what? After a while, you'll start looking forward to that instead of the popcorn, instead of the crunchy stuff that can lead to weight gain.
Very good. Very good. I mean, I love, I couldn't, before I started changing my lifestyle and eating whole food more, the first thing I did was I was challenged to a 1 month raw vegan. And that's what changed my life right there, that 1 month. And although I was raw vegan for 3 years and learned how to make delicious foods and prepare them and desserts and all of that, after a certain time, it didn't support me anymore. And we can't get married so much to the foods that, we think are good or whatever. There comes a time that things don't support us anymore. What is your advice for that, Dr. Friedman?
Again, pertaining to what?
When we get married to a certain brand or married to a certain, way of eating, I have to have my oil, or I have to have my popcorn, or I have to be able to sit back and say, it doesn't support me anymore.
Well, not only that, they have done research. We're talking about IBS and all these gut issues we're having, an autoimmune disease. They're finding out that diversity makes your gut microbiomes healthy.
Mhm.
They need diversity. So if you're in the same old, what's happening is the gut doesn't heal as much. It can actually get sick. So you want to alter that. Same with people working out. If you're doing the same workout every day, every week, every day, you're like, man, I'm not seeing any changes. A good personal instructor will tell you, hey, instead of biceps Monday, do it on Wednesday. And instead doing legs on the machine, do it on this machine. In other words, to alter it, and immediately you start seeing some metamorphosis, some improvement. So the key is diversity is the key. It's good to mix and match. And like I said, it's kind of like with life. I think that our stagnant life is why and I've done a whole show on this, is why, oh man, the summer went by so fast, right? But when we were kids, it lasted forever because children get more input, new things enter their minds. When we get older, it's same old routine, the same road, the same street. And what happens is time goes by fast because there's not enough synapses. Diversity is the key in life. It makes things, same with marriages, shake it up a bit, do different things, go to different restaurants. And
I agree.
it's more exciting. So same thing with your microbiomes. We need diversity. We need to eat the rainbow.
Absolutely. And for those of you, we're gonna finish the final two excuses that we're using. drfreeman.com, drdavidfreeman.com is where you can learn more about Dr. Freeman. He's also been in the classroom many times, so you can find him at whenyouneedafriend.com, on my YouTube channel, as well as my podcast. So much that we can learn. I love having him on because it's so much fun. Learning is fun. Learning should always be fun. But with Dr. Freeman, it's funner. It's so much funner. Okay, so let's go with excuse number 9. And thank you for all your questions, guys. If you have any more questions, we're going to you could just save them for maybe next time he's on. Okay, so excuse number 9, I can't let food go to waste. I remember my mom telling me about the people in India.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, I got it.
And how there are people starving in Africa, and guilt eating. So let's talk about guilt eating.
Well, you can decide, do you want the food to go to waste, or do you want it to go to your waste? That's important, because what happens is we overeat. There's no denying it. Like, one of the big reasons we're so overweight is we overeat. So my opinion is this: eat until you're satisfied, not until you're full. So if you don't want to waste that sandwich and you can't finish it, slice it in half, eat half the sandwich, bring the other half home with you, and in 2 hours, eat that sandwich. What you just did is you ate one sandwich, but you separated. And watch this. When dinner comes around, you're not going to be as hungry. You may even only eat half of your dinner. And you know what? Save that other half for tomorrow. Bring it, and that's now your lunch. Pretty soon, your body's now eating half your meal. And let's face it, I don't care what diet you're talking about, keto or paleo, vegan. The fact is, if we eat less food, we're going to lose weight, right? If we cut our food in half, wouldn't we lose weight? We're eating too much. So this way, you can eat less food and not be a glutton. So much where you got to unbuckle your belt when you go to restaurants. So so don't worry about letting food go to waste. Bring it with you,
Yes,
bring it home with you.
And stay away from the all-you-can-eat bar.
Oh,
You would never shop for a man in an all-you-can, you know what? That analogy must stay in my head. And I'm not going to be sharing it with everybody. Okay, so
Squirrel.
Number 10.
Squirrel.
Whoa, where's the squirrel? Okay, so excuse number 10 is I'm always hungry.
Yeah. Again, being always hungry is probably because you're eating empty calories. You're eating these white foods that are stripped of the minerals and the nutrients. So what happens is you get full, but your cells remain hungry. That's what you want to feed. You want to be fed on a cellular level. So that's when you want to actually look at foods that actually reach the cell instead of the potato chips. Remember the old saying, you can't eat just one? That's because they're empty calories. You can down it. Now, could you eat 2 giant bowls of blueberries? No, that's too filling because they're natural. I can't even finish half a bowl. It's so filling because you can. Yeah, I can. It's like so filling. Or, bunch of salads. So the point is, feed yourself nourishment that fills you. And like I said, that's why you want to go, instead of the white processed foods, go with the stuff that has the minerals in it. And that's the key, is that'll fill you up.
So you're thinking that the reason why people are hungry is because of not only the empty calories, but because they're not getting the minerals from the salt.
Or or the food, just minerals from the food. Plus, those little microbiomes we talked about. I used to think the brain told our body what we were craving, right? Didn't you? That's kind of like the brain's, oh, I'm thinking of a ham. It's your microbiomes. These little friendly bacteria in our gut are what sends the signals to our body that we want to eat sugar, we want to eat carbs, we want to eat certain type of foods. So these little bugs, as they call them, have to be fed healthier things, and then what happens is they get rid of that craving for sugar. So the big key is to eat for your gut, and that's gut friendly foods, like fermented foods, like sauerkraut that you could have, green leafy vegetables, eat the rainbow. You won't be having cravings. I'm telling you, if you eat a good healthy salad, I call it a garbage salad because I put everything in it. It's got all these colors. I put one on my Instagram account and everyone says, man, look at that. It was you can check it, Dr. D. Friedman on Instagram, and you'll look at my salad. It looks like a rainbow. Yeah. That's what your gut loves. Do that instead of the potato chips because they'll keep you hungry. You'll keep eating and eating and want more food and French fries. You want more and more. And then an hour later after the fast food restaurant, you're still hungry.
Yeah. And, you had mentioned in excuse number 9 that, eat half of it, eat half of the food. But if you're eating half of processed foods, you're not getting the nutrients that if you eat half of your salad or half of, something that's healthier for you, right?
Well, not only that, then you're actually being fed cellular level when you eat healthy. So obviously you want to eat healthy. It's like, oh, he says I can have half a Snickers bar and half later and it's good. No, you want to eat half of something that's good. But the point is, the portion control. That's the big thing. Stay away from these all you can eat. And, and I did another article at drdavidfreeman.com about plate colors and plate sizes. They really have an issue with the mind on how much we eat and what to watch out for. You'd be surprised how colors of plates trigger and eat more food and which ones don't.
Well, this is all wonderful. I'm so glad that I finally dusted off the last chapter of the book, and that I am your first to discuss this. First, I am so glad that I'm the first to discuss this because, everybody loves the book, and that's Food Sanity. I'm encouraging all of you to go out to Amazon or go to drdavidfreeman.com and learn where else you can get the book. But it is up to us. We do need to decide and have that really vulnerable conversation. Why are we hurting ourselves? Because ultimately that's what we're doing. As you said, you can't outrun your fork. And, and the fork could be a weapon of mass destruction or a powerful tool. So, it's our choice. We're always in choice. And Dr. Friedman, I am so glad that you are on today. And is there anything that you would like to add before we go?
Again, just stop looking everywhere for answers. Go to the mirror because you're a multimillionaire inside. You want to take care of your net worth. You matter. Get rid of that not enough time excuse. There's always time for you. The word itself is telling you. It has the word I and the word me in it. Look at that word, let it reflect, let it inspire you to take action. Put that mask down, that oxygen mask on yourself first, then take care of your family, friends, neighbors, and work. It starts with you.
Very good. I will let that be the last word. Just want to encourage all of you to share and let people know that you can make different choices, eat incredible, wonderful food, and be filled. Spirit, mind, and body. Until next time, we will see each other soon. And Dr. Friedman, it's always a pleasure to have you as a teacher in the classroom.
My sister from another mister. It's always fun.
My brother from another mother. We'll see you guys soon. Bye.